I'm Knox. I teach harpsichord at McGill University. I direct the early music program at McGill University. I look after the Baroque Orchestra. I direct a Baroque opera. Just because I like and spend most of my professional and waking hours in music of the 17th and 18th century doesn't mean that I'm not aware of what's going on in the world around me. And long before I discovered the harpsichord, I was a great fan of piano repertoire and whatever would come out of the radio. There's some fantastic musicians making some fantastic music, and there has been all through history. So as I was growing up, I came across the Beatles and the Rolling Stones. And of course, one day I stumbled across a recording of Frank Zappa, and I said to myself, why doesn't everybody make music like this? I think like a lot of people of my generation who went into early music, we did it because while we appreciate and admire what you might call mainstream classical repertoire, that wasn't the stuff that spoke most directly to us. I think I was more interested in things a little off the beaten path. So if somebody said, well, there's nothing interesting about the 17th century, I had to go look. And if somebody said to me, well, there's nothing interesting about this long-haired freak from Los Angeles, I had to go look. What place does old music have in contemporary culture? You can ask that about a lot of different kinds of music. There's a creative response to old things, which is of today. We like to say in early music that what we're trying to do is recreate or recapture music of the past. We'll actually never know if we hit it or not because there are no recordings. So we'll never know if we got it right. So everything we do is an act of creation. And there's a lot of that going on in Montreal in all kinds of fields, more so than most places in North America. And what's interesting about it is that there's a wide variety of personalities, very strong personalities who have very clear ideas about what the music should be. So there's this kind of critical mass of ideas bouncing off of each other here in Montreal, and that's very, very special. I want my students to be able to express what they think and what they feel about the music. I want them to do it as successfully as they possibly can, which means that they have to have good technique. And I don't expect them to play like me, and I don't expect them to play like my colleagues. I expect them to find their own voice, but I want them to do it as wholeheartedly and with as much engagement as they can possibly bring to the task. I think the students who have worked with myself and my colleagues at McGill, when they get through their 3, 4, 5 years of training with us, they've done a lot of hard work. By the time they're done, they know what they're doing. They have a lot of good, solid work habits behind them. And they've learned enough entrepreneurial skills that they can go out there and carve a place for themselves. And there's obviously room for what they're doing because they're having a lot of success in the world. But they're very well prepared when they leave.